Qatar Airways is recruiting flight attendant for Amiri flights. This is the vacancy that it's quite popular these days, and it's available on the webpage of Qatar Airways under the career part. And in today's video, we're going to talk about all the requirements that are written there, and I will elaborate each and every aspect to tell you closely what does that mean. I have seen some videos of some cabin crew consultants telling to you how to apply for this job, and I think that is wonderful. I really support the idea that we want to bring to you all the information and to facilitate that process of application. And also at the same time, it is very important that we display and we show what is the meaning of all those requirements to facilitate that understanding process of where are you standing at the moment as a candidate, to know what are the things that perhaps you need to work in future if becoming a flight attendant for Amiri Flight is the job that you really want to have. So let's start. And for those of you that are first time on my YouTube channel, a very warm welcome. My name is Julia George. I used to fly for Qatar Airways for 10 years and I have resigned from my last work position as a cabin service director. I'm currently studying aviation management master program at Wildau Institute of Applied Science in Berlin. On my YouTube channel, you're going to find all the topic elaborated to the cabin crew role, how to become a cabin crew, what does it mean to be a cabin crew, and also a lot of topics that will help you once you have successfully enrolled into the cabin crew job, how to sustain in the same and hopefully build up a successful career. Before I go on further with the requirements, there is a small story which I want to share with you all. The very first contact person that I came to know in Qatar once I moved in 2009, once I started my initial training for a cabin crew, was a girl who was from my country, from Macedonia, and she used to fly for Amiri. At the moment, I don't know whether she still flies or not, but I got in touch with her. We had a couple of talks and chats, and I came to know the initials of this group of people, of these flight attendants. And in today's video, I will reveal to you all, and also stay tuned until the last minute of this video because I will tell you why I think that I'm not eligible to be a flight attendant for Amiri Flight for Qatar Airways now at the moment. Even with this flying experience that I have of 10 years, I strongly believe that I'm going to be rejected. And if you stay tuned until the last minute of this video, I will tell you why I think I'm going to be rejected. In between the webpage of Qatar Airways related to this vacancy, flight attendant for Amiri Flight, you also gonna see a lot of other web pages and portals advertising this job opportunity, which is also great in order to come across and to come nearby all the quality candidates to apply for this job. And I sincerely suggest to everyone who wants to apply for the job to just do it from the website of Qatar Airways and not anywhere else, because there are a lot of other web pages which are telling to you, click here, we're going to help you to get the job and stuff like that. So in order to save yourself from perhaps falling into a scam or frauds and stuff like that, just apply on the official webpage of qatarairways.com/careers. So once you're there on the webpage of Qatar Airways, and I have over here with me my laptop, which I'm going to go through the requirements one by one, and I'm going to have all the requirements over here, but at the same time I'm going to list the requirements under this video, so it's going to be easier for you to understand what do I talk about and easier for you to see at which requirement I am at the moment. So it says the basic requirement for this job is to have minimum of 2 years of flying experience in first or business class in a reputable international airline. Experience in VIP flights is an advantage. So from the very beginning, there is a clear limitations over here. So if you're a fresher, I'm very sorry, but you do not have chances, and simply applying for this job will just be a waste of time, because from what I know, from my experience and my knowledge, and also I have met a lot of people who were working for Amiri, they do not hire freshers. They hire people who have experience in first or business class. So to have an experience in first or business class, the desired 2 years of experience there. So that means you're supposed to be flying economy class. You must be flown economy class before you reach there. And let's say you are a cabin crew who flew for 5 years for Ryanair. So Ryanair is a low-cost airline where I don't think that first and business class standards are as much as, let's say, in Emirates Airlines practiced and implemented, and therefore that's not the strategy of the airline. Although we must make something clear over here, Ryanair is the most profitable airline in the world. So it's not a joke to have Ryanair in your CV. But when it comes to the Amiri flight attendant job, this is just a small comparison that I'm sharing with all of you. Perhaps somebody who has a flying experience over there is not going to be the best candidate, or will not be considered among the first 10 ones that they would give priority. Another comparison which I would say, which I can use over here, let's say a cabin crew flying for Turkish Airlines, where we know that Turkish Airlines has a first and business class, and let's say flew for 7 years, out of which 4 years were first and business class experience, then definitely this candidate is eligible. And the last point from this basic requirement, experience in VIP flights is an advantage. A lot of candidates who have flown before for VIP airlines, and VIP means very important persons, you all know that, would have the priority. Why this basic requirement is over there? It's very important that we understand. It's because the customers for this airline, and as I'm going to be talking through the requirements, I'm also going to talking to you about the airline. If you become a cabin crew for a flight attendant for Amiri flight, you're not a cabin crew for Qatar Airways. You are a cabin crew for the royal family of Qatar and for the ministers and other very important persons when it comes to Qatar as a country. And if you open Wikipedia actually to check this airline, Qatar Amiri Flight, basically it's called. It says that it's a VIP airline owned and operated by the government of Qatar. They have their own flag, which is the flag of Qatar, of state of Qatar, and on Wikipedia it's written that their fleet at the moment is 14 aircrafts and that they have hundreds of cabin crew, only 100 cabin crew. So we're talking about a very limited amount of flight attendants. And also on the Wikipedia, you are going to see that they do not hire first officers. They only hire captains. So that means that the royal family and all other very important person within the state of Qatar prefers to fly in a flight deck where a lot of experience or inexperienced pilots are there. Therefore, when going back to the flight attendant job, they also want an experienced cabin crew. We're talking about very private service on board the aircraft. When I say private, it means that you will be, or the candidates who are applying should know that they will be talking and dealing with the royal family, with their cousins, with the very important people of Qatar, the ministers, etc., etc. So that requires one very important parameter, and it's called discretion. It will go into the contracts later on that the cabin crew are signing, and this is just a small insight, and I'm gonna, as I go further, as I have said, I will elaborate each and every aspect, and I will come to the point of privacy a bit later. Speaking English fluently, there is one thing that I know when it comes to languages spoken, and that is that the cabin crew for Amiri flights should not speak Arabic. I have heard that, I have never read it, this is just what I know, and I think I find a logic behind that. For example, I'm a royal family, or my family is a royal family, and I'm a Macedonian. This is not something that even in my wildest dream I can imagine, but if I want to hire somebody to work for my airline, I would hire somebody who speaks English. I wouldn't hire somebody who speaks Macedonian. Why? I just don't want people to know what I'm talking with my friends, with my family, with the ministers if I fly and stuff like that. So therefore, the discretion and the, I wouldn't say keeping secrets, but yet, one thing we have to remember over here, We talk about very important people, powerful people, and safety and security. It is very important. Why? It's because not every person in this world has the best and the most nicest intention towards someone who's very powerful. We all know that criminals, the organized crime, and things like that are a danger for everyone, including the very important people and including people who are very wealthy. If you want to make a small comparison, you can take into consideration, let's say, the royal family of UK, of England. Nobody knows who is flying for the royal family. Nobody knows how their aircrafts look like. We can see them from outside, and that is very understandable. High level of privacy, therefore this is very applicable also to the royal family of Qatar. And when it comes to the language, there is no room for hesitation. You have to speak, read, and write perfect English. Then we go to a strong sense of responsibility and excellent interpersonal skills, pretty much as a normal commercial flight attendant or a commercial cabin crew. Strong sense of responsibility. One thing that I can say over here is when it comes to Amiri flights, the cabin crew or the flight attendants are the ones who are doing the entire housekeeping for the aircraft. Why? It's for the simple reason when, let's say, a royal family travels to London, it is of utmost importance that unauthorized personnel does not come on board the aircraft, and in these circumstances, unauthorized persons are everyone except their pilots and their cabin crew. Therefore, also the salary of the cabin crew for Amiri flight is slightly different than a commercial flight attendant, and that is pretty much understandable. The flight attendants for Amiri flights for the state of Qatar are actually experienced. They're hired as experienced cabin crew. Therefore, I fully support this and I think it's great. What do I mean by maintenance and housekeeping when it comes to housekeeping? They're cleaning the aircraft. They ensure everything is back to the proper location. And when it comes to the catering, the person who orders the catering is also their supervisor. They also have a supervisor, and I have had on my flight a supervisor who was working for Amiri long ago, and he never disclosed any secret. He never talked how is it on the flight, but in my interaction I came to know that he is the one who is dealing with the food order, and this is a very, very experienced person, somebody who has been in the aviation industry for a minimum of 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. Then we go to high commitment to impeccable service and teamwork. This is basically the components that I have mentioned. The royal family in London is disembarking, and you, along with your crew, you are making the aircraft impeccable. Whenever they decide to travel back, you have arranged everything and it's ready for them. Exceptional standard and professional excellence, discretion and integrity. We're coming to a very important point. This is written in their basic requirements. And I've seen also some YouTubers putting the thumbnail of a completely wrong photo. This photo that you see that circles around the internet, it's a photo from the Qatar executive. It's not a photo from Amiri flights. Why? Because you will never see how the Amiri cabin crew look like in uniform, and you will never see how the interior of the aircrafts look. I'm gonna show some pictures to tell you, just to give you an idea of how the interior inside looks like. So in one aircraft, I don't know, 747, let's say, they would have a bedroom, they would have a living room inside. The entire interior of the aircraft is not as a commercial aircraft. It's totally private because the royal family flies, and it's for their comfort and their safety, everything tailored as per their needs, as per every royal family standard, I do believe. Now, when it comes to social media, when it comes to exposing pictures and stuff like that, their cabin crew and their pilots are simply not allowed to do that. It's written in their basic requirements and it's in their contract. However, I have seen in Algeria an entire set of Amiri cabin crew. We stayed in the same hotel, and I'm very sure that many of the cabin crew for Qatar Airways that flew have met them here and there, especially the ones who flew for quite some time maybe, and they are having a dark blue uniform. I would say the uniform was to me similar like Lufthansa. I don't know, they did not have hats as much as I can recall, but from what I really remember is that I saw a lot of blonde and tall girls. This was the thing that catch my mind. They completely looked like a set of crew that is from, I don't know, Northern Europe, let's say. There are a lot of rumors when it comes to this, what kind of nationality the royal family prefers. I do not know that, what kind of nationality they prefer. I know from the girl that I communicated with, she told me that there was a cabin crew who flew with her from Philippines. She was flying for quite some time for the royal family, but a certain type of preference she did not share with me. The only thing that I know is that their cabin crew should not speak Arabic. That's all I know. Then we go to confidence, flexibility, creativity, and problem solving. A lot of things can happen on board the aircraft, and creativity and problem solving is something that is important not only to the Amiri flight attendants, but also to the commercial flight attendants. But confidence, they would want, and it's understandable for somebody who has flown for quite some time in economy and in business class, that would be confident. So therefore, a room for people who would hesitate in their confidence is not left much, because the moment the recruiters see that the confidence is a bit unstable, let me also share one important thing over here, is that the recruiters for flight attendants for Amiri flight are having huge responsibility, not towards Chief Executive of Qatar Airways, His Excellency Akbar Al Bakr, but they have a huge responsibility towards the royal family, towards the king itself. So therefore, any hesitation that they would see in the confidence aspect will be immediately eliminated, and I'm responsibly stating this because it's written here in the non-negotiable rules and regulations. Excellent planning and organization skills. Basically, the Amiri cabin crew or Amiri flight attendants do not have a schedule. Out of the girls that I know that flew for Amiri flights, they don't get a monthly regular schedule. They live first of all in a separate accommodation. We talk about a number of hundreds of cabin crew, only 100 cabin crew. So they live in a separate accommodation. They do not have a curfew. So basically they go out whenever they want, they come back whenever they want. Every flight attendant for Amiri lives in a flat for her. I think two bedroom flat, if I'm not mistaken. They can have pets if they want. What are the other things that I recall that were different for them beside the curfew and the visitors? They can have visitors whenever they want and from wherever they want. So this is the thing that this company, which is within the state of Qatar, is functioning with a different set of rules and regulations, if you may say. Therefore, the planning and organizational skills means that their cabin crew are on standby 24 hours, except when there is a planned vacation, and you're, I don't know, in your home country, or you are in Bali, and you're just having the planned vacation on your roster. Then of course you're not on standby, but once you are in Doha, you're on standby. Now, what I also know is that their rostering department kind of knows in advance that, let's say tomorrow, the royal family or somebody from the royal family will be going to London, and you are planned for that trip, and changes can happen because maybe that member of the royal family will decide to cancel last moment, which also happens due to their job obligations and due to their busy schedules. There is one thing that I know from the conversations that I have had, is that the cabin crew for the royal family are divided into 4 categories, or you would say F2, F1, CS or CSD. But I know about the 4 categories, which the 4th category is the friends and people who are flying as assistants to the royal family, who are working for the royal family, and who are part of the royal family. And in terms of administration, they have their own immediate help when it comes to maids, when it comes to everyone who's there to basically facilitate the entire busy lifestyle that they have. Then the third category is the ministers, the people who are very important persons in Qatar itself, who are from Qatar. Basically, the second category are the cousins, the first cousins, the immediate family of the royal family, and the first category are the cabin crew, who are straight away serving or welcoming on board and taking care on board of the King of Qatar, and in this case we know who's the King of Qatar, right? Then we come to the point where it says social competence in a multicultural environment, and I would stress to the point which says cultural intelligence. Now over here you really need to know and you really need to explore and learn a bit more about the Arabic culture, because serving the royal family means knowing about the Arabic culture and knowing about Islam as a religion. What are the do's and don'ts, basically, which are quite familiar. And for those of us that flew for Qatar Airways for quite some time, or Emirates Airlines or Etihad Airways, fly Dubai, and we're based in the Middle East, we more or less know about them. But if you're, let's say, a candidate who has flown for a private jet, who was based in France, for instance, you might want to also take a time, sit, explore, and learn a bit about the Arabic culture, and I'm very sure that the multicultural and multinational environment is something that you know, but yet pay attention to the do's and don'ts when it comes to the Arabic culture. Then we come to the point where it says high standard of personal grooming and self-presentation. Basically, you know, you can't be a candidate who's going to show up for a video interview or who's going to show up for any form of the interview without your nails being immaculate. When I mean immaculate, it means an excellent French manicure, not something that I have on my hands at the moment, or red nails. It's something that would really complement that glamorous look. And of course, coming to the makeup, it has to be immaculate makeup. Just don't explore with colors. For the standards, for the grooming standards, let's say in this case, I have a video which is called the Qatar Airways Cabin Crew Grooming Standards. I will leave a link of that video in the description box below, and you will not go wrong if you present yourself for any form of your interview for becoming an Amiri cabin crew, if you follow all those instructions over there, believe me. And then we come to the last point of the basic requirements, which says unrestricted travel, and this is basically related to your passport. For example, certain nationalities are not allowed to travel in certain countries due to some reasons. I don't know which reasons. This channel is totally not about the politics and the international relationships between our countries where we're coming from. Yet you should own a passport which is pretty much easy to enter anywhere in the world, because the royal family might fly to a country where you have not even thought of, and they should not be planning their trips and their travels upon our restrictions of our own passport. Therefore is written here as one of the basic requirements that we need to think and reconsider. And the last and most important points when it comes to this basic requirements for Amiri Flight Attendant, and we're supposed to read it on the top. It says, please note that this position is for Amiri Flight and not for Qatar Airways. Therefore, all of you that are interested in to fly for Amiri or to be a cabin crew and flight attendant for Amiri, you all should know that you should have experience, first of all, that these requirements are non-negotiable, just like the Qatar Airways non-negotiable rules and regulations. Somebody might also ask me about the age. I'm 21 years and or I'm 20 years, can I apply? Well, if you have 2 years of experience in business class and in first class, and that means you're supposed to start flying when you're 15 or 16. I'm just kidding, but if you have the experience of 2 years in business class and first class, then even if you're 20, you might apply for the job. But knowing the fact that the airlines are recruiting cabin crew when they are 18 years, then this is pretty much impossible, because you can't fly for 1 month in economy class, or maybe you flew for 1 month in economy class and then you flew for 2 years in the business class. In the best case scenario, this is something that will be subject to a background check. I do believe that having hundreds of cabin crew, only hundreds of cabin crew in their fleet, the Amiri Flight Attendant department is pretty much concerned about the background check. And we come to the answer of the question that I popped up at the beginning, why I think I'm not eligible for this job. I have 10 years of experience. I exactly know what it means, corporate flight attendant or a VIP or a private jet, because I've had thousands of passengers who were VIP, and I totally know what it means, a personalized service. But there's one category which I'm not fitting in from the requirements, and it says exceptional standard of professional excellence, discretion and integrity. The discretion part is something that I'm not falling in. Why? It's because when this department will do a background check of me, because I will put over here my email address, I will put my CV, yet there are a lot of pictures on social media from me, a lot of social media presence is over here on my YouTube channel, and it's not something that I would want to delete because it's a work that I have dedicated. So once they check that out, I don't fall into the category of discretion, and simply a room for a negotiation will not be given, because one thing that I know about an organization is that this is part of the aviation industry. This private jet or private airline for the royal family yet falls into the category of the aviation industry. And when I talk about category of aviation industry, I'm fully aware that this is a business organization. So I will not do negotiation in terms of, you know what, I'm present on social media, can you take me to be your flight attendant? I promise I'm not going to make any photo. This is not even room for negotiation. As I have said, this is not even a room for a talk, because even if I promise, even if I say, business organizations in the world do not function on something called promises. Therefore, this is one area which I don't believe I'm falling in, and I don't believe I'm fulfilling this category. Therefore, also my intention was not to apply to be part of the Amiri cabin crew team, but even if I want to, I think that I'm going to be eliminated due to the fact that my pictures and all my work is very present on social media, and that would simply means that I'm a candidate who can at point in time jeopardize or can break the contract in which it says that the discretion must be there, and I might breach that part of the contract by, I don't know, posting a picture and stuff like that. They don't have brand ambassadors. They don't advertise themselves as Qatar Airways does, as I have mentioned earlier. They don't want people to know about the interior, the royal family, the very important people in the world. They try to stay private, as I have mentioned also. Not everyone on this planet and on this earth has the best intention towards them. We all know. Again, I'm emphasizing about the crime, about the organized crime. You watching this video and me, we have the best intention. We want to work for them. We want to help them. We want to serve them. Yet, from a business point of view and from a discretion point of view, you must understand that the people who are there hired to hire you to be part of this organization have a tough job to do. And in that tough job that they need to do, they need to prove to the managers or to the royal family that they can find the best candidates. With having all these things said, I would like to sincerely congratulate and wish everyone who's ready to click the submission button for this vacancy, to upload your CV, to make your online profile, very best of luck. Should you have any questions, do not hesitate to leave it in a comment below this video, or to follow me on my social media learning platform for cabin crew, which is called excrewnextcrew. We are a family of over 10,000 people over there. We are a community in which we share links and we share information and knowledge on a daily basis with each other. Don't forget to be also subscribed over here. Also, excrewnextcrew by Julia George YouTube channel is a social media learning platform for current cabin crew, for future cabin crew, for ex-cabin crew as well. And you might also want to read my blogs on excrewnextcrew.com, where I share blogs which are related to the cabin crew job. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'm going to be seeing you once again. Bye bye and have a nice day.